Yes, it is go time right now in high school baseball. It is time to step up. It is time for these teams to play their best baseball because we're entering, believe it or not, folks, the final week of the regular season. And at stake, our playoff positioning, and we're going to dive into some of the rankings from 7A down to 1A. You may want to stick to that. And yes, welcome to the Curtain Call podcast here on the Man on Second YouTube channel. Let's handle some business here. Please like, subscribe, and hype. Hype is now the new thing. So if you hit like, there's a hype thing that helps promote the channel. With all that, it's been an amazing, first week of April. Can't believe we're already into April. Closed out March, Man on Second, dominating the circuit here. 1.5 million views alone in the month of March. Already 4 days in, we're recording this on Saturday the 4th in the early afternoon, about 2 o'clock. I'm recording this. And already we have over 250,000 views and, probably going to push close to 300,000 in the first couple of days here of first 4 days here of the new month. But enough of the business there. Also, one last thing I want to mention: I'm putting on these videos a lot. You'll see on my shorts, I'm putting products up there. It's a thing that YouTube has done to help generate some revenue for me. I will always keep the content free to you people, but I'm putting baseball related items and products onto the videos. You'll see them there. I'll say shopping. I get a little small commission, again, if that helps fray the cost for me to grow this channel. And I'm doing stuff like I'll put baseballs, bats, gloves, a catching mask, things like that, sliding gloves, pocket radar for pitchers, those who you want that. If you're in the market for product anyway, if your travel teams are starting, you want a bucket of baseballs, if you feel so inclined, no pressure, but if you feel so inclined to help the channel, it would help if you ordered off of you'll see the product link right there in the video. But again, that is up to you. I'm trying to get you the best deals. And, so again, if you're buying this stuff anyway, it would be helping grow the channel. But again, that is just some business as we're handling. But folks, this past week, so some intense baseball. You can tell we're getting close to playoffs because I got, the tensions are getting there. The kids are getting fired up. There's a little bit of back and forth. And this is one of the highlights there of the week here, just as what's ahead. See, here we go. Whoa, you got to watch out. The players get a little testy and, it escalated fast here. So, again, obviously, I am joking. This is longtime footage of a Atlanta Braves game against, I believe it was the Cardinals. And so this is kind of a little melee. I am absolutely not condoning this kind of behavior on a high school baseball field, but it feels like the intensity picks up. Those that kind of missed the beginning, it's kind of escalating quickly. Look, boom, we don't want to see this happen in high school baseball, but we are seeing teams kind of getting fired up, chirping back and forth with each other, which means they're playing for high stakes. Again, but folks, this is what baseball looked like 15, 20 years ago, and long before that, obviously a lot. It was before everyone was hugging each other, where everyone gets an applause for hugging everyone. So you want to see it one more time? Yeah, I like it. That's catcher. That's pitcher Paul Bird. That's when pitchers get hit. He's standing right there with Eddie Perez, the catcher, and that, again, look how quickly that escalated. So again, let's keep our tempers in check, folks, at the high school level as we kind of get ready for what will be an intense week of baseball as the kids are getting close. That video kind of came to mind, and it certainly didn't escalate to this, but I was at the Chaminade Madonna game against Monsignor Pace, where that was a game that really felt like a playoff game. That was a 3-1 win on the road for Monsignor Pace. I like that team. They do a lot of things right. It was very intensely played. You could tell the time of year we are, and there's a little chirping, which is all in the spirit of the game, but But again, guys, this is a little lesson. What you just saw that video, and let's do one more time just for old time's sake, um, as these guys went at it. Uh, it's when you're getting to games that matter, when you're getting to the time of year where the stakes are high, players will be playing with a lot of emotion. They're going to be playing with, there's going to be a lot in the line, every at bat, every pitch, every umpire call. It's all going to factor in. And this is my advice to you guys. Those who can play with the energy without raising the temperature, without letting it affect them and getting too emotional, those who can keep their emotions in check while playing at a high energy, those are going to be teams that put themselves in a really good position to advance into district and so forth. But again, I'll kind of talk a little bit about some of those games. But let's talk about that Chaminade Pace game, because that, again, I talked to some players after the game and they felt the same. There was a little different energy in the park that day. Again, won 3-1 by Pace. It was 1-1. Ryan Menendez, great job, the pitcher for Pace. He went a complete game, gave up 1 earned run, 1 strikeout. That was the amazing thing. I was even trying to think back, because when I put videos together, I look, and there wasn't a lot of strikeouts, but he was very effective. A.J. Diaz of Chaminade hit a home run. He had 2 hits that game. His at-bats are looking really good. Hats off to A.J. Diaz. Hats off to Ryan Menendez to go the distance. Santiago Arismendi, the pitcher for Chaminade, he pitched really well as well. 6 innings. He had 5 strikeouts. And key moment in the game, Jordan Young with a big RBI double, I think in the 6th inning, maybe. And that was kind of the difference. Then there was an add-on RBI to make it 3-1. But a lot of good action, plays at the plate, guys playing really hard and with a lot of emotion. Again, keep the emotions in check, because we don't want to have this scene going. We don't want to see this, although it is entertaining to see. I believe Eddie Perez, that was catching, I believe he was on the Braves coaching staff, and Paul Bird, who was the pitcher in that game, who was back when pitchers hit. He's a announcer, used to be or still is part of the broadcast team for the Braves. So interesting to see a pitcher and a catcher going at it. See old Bobby Cox, the Hall of Fame manager. Good to see you, one of the greatest managers of all time. He was in there trying to pull bodies apart. So again, fun times back in the day. And as we're moving forward, that was a good game. That Chaminade Monsignor Pace game, you could tell that game mattered. But I'm going to kind of give you everybody kind of a little heads up. What's ahead this week? As teams kind of close out to get ready for their districts. And I guess this year, in the past, it used to be if there would be a host site, like maybe Flanagan in District 14, 7A might host, and the teams, the 4 teams in the district would play kind of their round robin over a couple of day period in at Flanagan High School or at Stoneman Douglas or someplace. Now, it's my understanding it's the higher seed, so there's not going to be a host site. So last year in 7A, Taravella was the host site. Stoneman Douglas went and played there at Taravella for the title game, and this now, if Douglas, as being the top seed, would play all of its district games at home, and then that will lead into the regionals. And then eventually 3 rounds of regionals, over the quarterfinals, semifinals, and regional finals. To my not last year, everything was 2 of 3. This year, I think the regional quarterfinals are single elimination. So obviously, you could be the number 1 seed in the state and find yourself going home if you run into a hot pitcher that day. And then obviously you go to Fort Myers and for the state semifinals and finals, which are 1 game, winner take all type of environment. So I'm just kind of priming you, and I'm going to break some things down. These are, the numbers I see of the Florida High School Athletic Association's page. I'm going to run down kind of the top teams in the state overall. And then I'll break down 7A, 6A, 5A, all the way down to 1A as it applies, how it looks, in the state rankings and how it shapes up for our South Florida teams. Number 1 team in the state overall is Venice, 7A team. Number 2 team is 3A's South Walton. 3 is Bishop Snyder up in Jacksonville. They're a 2A team. The number 4 team ranked in the state is Jesuit out of Tampa. They're a 4A team, the heavy favorites to win 4A. The 5th ranked team in the state is Trinity Christian Academy in 2A. That's a team that's been primed to win state for several years now. Haven't done it yet. They still that nucleus team that they had together for several years. They're kind of all seniors now, or junior seniors. So that's going to be very interesting to see how they hold up. First South Florida team, ranked 6, Stoneman Douglas out of 7A. The number 7 team is Creekside. They're from 7A. And the number 8 team in the state is Childs High School in Tallahassee. They're a 5A team. The number 9 team is Tampa Catholic in 2A. Number 10 is St. John's Country Day. They're 1A. 11 is Pace. They are 6A. 12 is Berkeley Prep, 2A. Then 13, we got Columbus High School here in Miami, 7A. Then other schools from South Florida, 18th ranked, North Broward Prep, 3A. St. Thomas Aquinas is 20th in 6A. West Broward is 7A. They're number 22. Key West, number 25 in 4A. Number 29 overall is Matter Academy Charter. They're 5A, defending 5A champs. And the number 30th ranked team in the state, according to the Florida High School Athletic Association, 6A's Doral Academy. So overall, that doesn't really matter much except for ranking purposes because we don't have a one champion. Maybe they'll change the rule. I think there's some rumblings that next year we could have like a true number 1 team in the state. It could be the best of 7A, 6A, all that, however they design it. Maybe they do the top 20 teams. So, but, as you see, like in 7A, Stoneman Douglas, winners of 5 straight, they're in there, very competitive. Venice is number 1 team in the state. Overall, they're 7A, so they were actually a higher seed than Douglas right now. Then you got Creekside in 7A. So let's kind of break this down. Let's go from 7A to 1A. And 7A is going to be, I did a podcast a week or so ago talking about 7A being, it could be a dogfight. It's going to be really intense because we got 3 of the really, really elite teams in 7A right here in South Florida, but only one of them will be going to Fort Myers to have a chance to win it all. So let's break down the latest rankings. I believe the rankings come out on Tuesdays. So this was last Tuesdays. Obviously, some things will shuffle because teams have won and lost, so their rankings are going to potentially move up this week on Tuesday. Maybe I'll do a couple of these just to kind of get everyone up to speed. 7A, number 1, obviously, is Venice. Number 2, Stoneman Douglas. Number 3 is Creekside. 4 is Columbus. What that means is right now, if those hold, Douglas would be a regional game at home, 2 out of 3 at home against Columbus, assuming that matchup happened. Number 5 is Spruce Creek. Number 6 is West Broward. So West Broward has, this week in terms of seeding to see what happens to assure home field advantage in a regional should they. Because right now, West Broward would be going on the road to Columbus or Stoneman Douglas. And obviously, it's a big advantage for teams to be home. Number 7 is Sarasota. Number 8 is West Orange. Number 9 is George Jenkins out of Lakeland. And number 10 is Vero Beach. 15, we got some other teams here from South Florida. Cypress Bay is 15. Jupiter is up in Palm Beach County. Jupiter went to state championship game at 7A a year ago. They are number 18 right now. Western High School is 34. Taravella is 45. Boca Raton is at 50. How do I see that shaping up? I mean, again, it's going to be who's on the mound and who's hot because all of our teams have shown signs of greatness and signs of vulnerability. Will be interesting. We got Douglas coming on Tuesday to play at Chaminade Madonna. That should be a real interesting game. Then Douglas is also, they were off this past week because remember a week or so before they were in Las Vegas doing a tournament, playing like 4 games in 4 days and did very well there. And then they'll play Key West, which is really a dominant team in 4A. We'll get to them in a minute. Let's jump down to 6A now. The number one seed right now in 6A, we're doing the top 10, and then we will localize. Top 10, number one in 6A is Pace High School. Number two is St. Thomas Aquinas out of Fort Lauderdale here. The Raiders, in my opinion, they've been the most consistent team in South Florida all year, and they've beaten everybody, even though this past week they kind of got hammered a bit at West Broward 14-4. I'll talk a little bit about that game as we get out of here after we do these rankings. Number three is Melbourne. Number four, Doral Academy. So it's shaping up down here in 6A for St. Thomas and Doral. St. Thomas would have home field if this stays, if these rankings stay. Number five, Gaither. Number six, Vieira. Number seven, East Lake. Number eight, Bloomingdale. Number nine, Southridge from right here in South Florida and Miami. They're making some noise. They're going to be tough to beat. They're a wild card type team that could disrupt it and find themselves going to Fort Myers. But as of now, if they do, they would go on the road unless Doral and St. Thomas Aquinas are eliminated before they play, in the rounds before, like the regional finals, let's say. Where am I? Number 10 is Lake Mineola. I have no idea where that is. Then we got from South Florida up in Palm Beach County. Number 14 is Dwyer, coached by former Marlins pitcher Jordan Yamamoto. A couple of years ago, Jordan in year one at Dwyer won it all. This year, young team, but they beat Heritage earlier in the year. I was at that game. Good to see Jordan Yamamoto again. I saw him when he made his rookie debut when I was covering the Marlins all those years for MLB.com. So keep an eye on Dwyer. Braddock, number 20. Braddock has a lot of good players. They got a lot of good players. They are certainly capable of making noise. Number 29 is West Boca. Number 30 is Flanagan, which a week or so ago had a big upset beating Stoneman Douglas. So we'll see if the Falcons they have a chance to make some noise here. They're in that district with St. Thomas Aquinas, so they're gonna have to get by St. Thomas Aquinas. Number 33, Cooper City. Cooper City has been one of those little thorns in the side teams. Young, but they're scrappy, and you catch them on the right day, they might upset you. So good for the Cowboys. They've been a fun team this year. As an underdog, obviously it's going to be how far they go into. From districts, if they qualify for regionals or not. We shall see. We'll break down the rankings when they get to that final 8 after, as these things kind of weed themselves out after district. Let's go to 5A. Number one 5A school. Last year in 5A, just so you know, Mater Academy Charter won it all in 5A. And just a reminder, last year in 6A, St. Thomas Aquinas won it all. And in 7A, of course, Stoneman Douglas won it all. So Mater Academy defending champs right now. Childs out in Tallahassee, they're number one overall. Mosley, they are number 2. And Mater Academy Charter, they were going to have a big game against American Heritage at home a couple of nights ago. I think it was Thursday. But it got rained out. So that game, as far as I know, I do not think that'll be made up. That could have mattered a lot for Mater Academy and mattered for Heritage in terms of their power rankings. But right now, Mater Academy looks like in terms of South Florida teams in 5A, everything will go through in Region 4. They'll be in, as all of our teams except for North Broward Prep, they're in Region 3. But everybody else will be in Region 4. So Mater Academy is sitting at number 1 in Region 4, but number 3 overall in 5A. Number 4 is Niceville. Number 5 is Gulf Breeze. Number 6 is Wesley Chapel. They just came down. Good team. They just came down from the Tampa area and played at American Heritage. Lost that game, 3-0. On Friday night. Mason McGeehan was lights out, had a masterful complete game shutout. We'll talk about that game a little bit before we get out of here. Number 7 is Columbia. Number 8 is Sebring. Number 9 is Winter Springs. Number 10 is Lincoln out of Tallahassee. And then Archbishop McCarthy right here in Southwest Ranches here, not far from where I live. They are 19. And Pines Charter, Pembroke Pines Charter is at 22. McCarthy and Pines Charter are in the same district. So in 5A, that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Let's take it down now to 4A. Let me take a little sip of drink before we dive in. 4A again, Tampa Jesuit. They're going to be hungry. They won it. And it's funny, the last couple of years, 3-4 years, Jesuit a few years back beat Heritage in the title game. Heritage came back last year in 2024. Jesuit beat Heritage, and Jesuit's a school that has Gary Sheffield's kids. He seems to have a kid on the team every year, and I think there's another Sheffield kid on that team. Also, couple of the best pitching prospects in the state. Doug Wechter's son. Remember the former pitcher in the big leagues? I think he's part of the Rays broadcast crew, or used to be. His son is a stud pitcher at Jesuit. But Jesuit's number one. A year ago, Jesuit got to the Final Four, was upset in the semifinals, and American Heritage ended up winning the title game in 4A a year ago. It's going to be hard for the Patriots this year, but they're getting hot at the right time. We'll get to that in a minute. Again, Jesuit number one in 4A. Merritt Island is number two. Merritt Island is the number one seed in Region 4, which is the region that affects South Florida. Bishop Moore is number three. Key West right now is number four overall in the state. They are number two in Region 4. Number 5 in the state in 4A is Osceola. 6 is Berlin Jesuit, having a good year. Berlin Jesuit in Miami. 7 is Island Coast. 8 is Chattahoochee. 9 is Port Charlotte. 10 is Vanguard. 12 is Somerset Academy. They are in the district with American Heritage. Heritage is at 14, and Matter Lakes is number 29. So how Region 4 is shaping up, you got Merritt Island 1, Key West 2, Somerset 3, and American Heritage 4. That means that those first 4 teams, at least in the first round of regionals, would have a home date. But they're still this week will determine whether Heritage stays at 4 or leapfrog Somerset and goes to 3. So we shall see how that plays out in the next couple of days. 4A should be a lot of fun. 3A, this is the interesting one. South Walton, again, a lot of people think that's one of the best teams in the country. They were, they're heavily favored to win in 3A, to win it all. Number 2 in 3A. North Broward Prep, but again, we'll see if the rankings change, because American Heritage went into North Broward Prep and beat them earlier this past week. Fernandina Beach is number 3. Calvary Christian out of Clearwater, they are number 4. Bishop Verot is 5. Hernando is 6. West Florida is 7. Jefferson in the Tampa area is 8. Nature Coast Tech, I never heard of them. They are 9. And I say this not to belittle these schools. I'm sure they're great schools. But the last few years, I didn't do it this year because I'm not doing anything with SB Live anymore, or very rarely. When I was doing the state rankings, I kind of had a feel of where all these teams were. And number 10 in 3A is St. Brendan from right here in Miami. 13, Gulliver Prep with obviously Jacob Lombard, the top player in the state, one of the top players in the country, projects to go very high in the MLB draft. Number 18 is Miami Springs. Remember last year, Miami Springs won it all they won it all in 3A. Number 19 is Killian in Miami. Seen them, they've been hot and cold, but clearly they're a team that can make some noise. Number 22 is Monsignor Pace. Like I said, I just saw them. And number 23 is Pinecrest. So those are our teams. Like I said, North Broward Prep's in Region 3. The other schools like Springs and Killian and Monsignor Pace, Pinecrest, St. Brendan, they're all going to be in Region 4. So that's going to be really, really interesting. And I actually have some other teams. So 3A is going to be interesting. We got Sunset in the Miami area. They're in Region 4. They're number 26. Calvary Christian Academy is 28. Cardinal Gibbons, again, they're a team, I think their record's a little under 500, but don't sleep on them. They are young and they are talented. They're capable of pulling an upset. Then I Matter Charter out of Hialeah is number 30. So 3A is going to be very active. There's going to be a lot of fun to see how that plays out. Let's take it down to 2A. 2A, you got Bishop Snyder. You got Trinity Christian Academy is number 2. Bishop Snyder's 1, I should say. Number 2, Trinity Christian Academy. Number 3, Tampa Catholic. Number 4, Berkeley Prep in the Tampa area. Number 5, Lakeland Christian. Number 6, Bozeman. Number 7, Chaminade Madonna. The Lions there coming in number 6. St. John Paul Academy up in the Boca area. They are 8. True North Classical Academy is number 9. 10 is Cardinal Mooney. 11, Westminster Christian right there in Miami. 12, Palmer Trinity out of Miami. 17, I wrote for the First Academy. I know they're in the Orlando area. I mentioned them because Heritage had a huge win beating them. That's a defending 2A champs. That team is very talented. Don't get fooled by records. Obviously, teams change year to year, but the First Academy is not a team to sleep on. 24, Westminster Academy here in Fort Lauderdale. 27, NSU, Nova Southeastern University University School, U School. They are 27. Number 30 is King's Academy. 31, Florida Christian, and 33, St. Andrews in Boca. St. Andrews a year ago went to the Final Four. So we'll see, if the Scots get hot at the right time. So again, a lot of teams. So we got schools here. That's going to be interesting to see who's playing at home, who's going to have advantage, who's going to get hot at the right time. Hard to predict, in that who's going to go to Fort Myers, but certainly Chaminade Madonna with Spencer Krasner being an ace there. They're a legit dude. They have as good a shot as anybody from South Florida. True North Classical Academy, again, they're another team with a really good chance to get there as well, but we shall see how it does there. Well, let's wrap it up with 1A. St. John's Country Day is number 1. Number 2 is Canterbury. I believe they're playing American Heritage this week, and they might be playing another team in South Florida this week. So to see how it finishes up, again, they're number 2 overall, so that could help someone's power ranking. So again, like we've been talking about, Orangewood Christian is 3. Evangelical Christian is 4. St. Joseph's Academy is 5. Newman is 6. St. John Paul II is 7. Mount Dora Christian Academy is 8. Cambridge Christian is 9. Northside Christian is 10. 11 is Miami Christian. 12 is Schoolhouse Prep. Saw them a few weeks back. They're a good team. They're from down here as well. Number 24, Dade Christian, and number 25 is Brito. So again, there's going to be some fun stuff here in the final week. Again, I kind of talked a little bit about the Chaminade Pace game. Do want to note that that St. Thomas Aquinas game at West Broward. Huge game for the Bobcats. They won that. Interesting. That first inning was almost an hour long. St. Thomas, being a road team, scored 4 in the top of the first. West Broward responded with 5 in the bottom of the first. Like I said, nearly an hour long inning, and the game itself was like 3-hour game. But then it was all West Broward, and they ended up run ruling them with 7 runs in the 6th inning to put an end to that. The big news for West Broward, we talked a little bit a week or so ago about Manuel Sarcos, their excellent catcher, who unfortunately got hit in the eye and nose area with a pitch. I got to see Manu. Told me he's feeling great. He has not suffered no concussion symptoms, which I was shocked. And he's hopeful to sometime this upcoming week to start taking some swings. So I'm not sure we'll see him in a game before district, but very encouraging that Manu could be getting back up on that horse and getting back in there, which would be huge. That's a game changer in 7A. Just a very uncharacteristic St. Thomas game that day for them. They just it wasn't their day. But obviously a really, really talented team that capable of rebounding. Big news also with 4A implications was Brady Snow, returning, and really looking great. He went up to North Broward Prep and he got the job done. Brady Snow had been dealing with a little ailment here. He touched 98 a couple of times from what I understand, and putting himself every time he pitches now. He's a Florida commit, but you're throwing 98 right now. The big leagues are looking at you too. So the big league teams are looking at him. In 23 2/3 innings, Brady Snow has 36 strikeouts. So clearly a threat and an ace that is capable of giving American Heritage the boost they need to get hot at the right time, and they are getting hot at the right time to make it back to Fort Myers. So again, I talked about Mason McGeehan, great performance against Wesley Chapel. He worked. He had at top of the first inning. They loaded the bases on him with no outs. He got out of that jam, and then ends up going 7 innings with and throwing a shutout. So remarkable performance by Mason McGeehan. 37 strikeouts on the year and 36 and 2/3 innings. Uncommitted, but we're trying to get Mason signed by somebody, and the way he's throwing, I think that'll happen. Wild card guy for I think it could be a big help for Heritage is left-handed senior Gabe Rosenfeld. 92 to 94 miles an hour. He's throwing 29 strikeouts in 18 and 2/3 innings, 14 walks. So obviously that walk rate is coming down. He's throwing more strikes and really kind of locking in. So with those 3 pitchers there, Heritage is capable of getting on a roll. Offensively, Angelo Geraldo had a huge home run against North Broward Prep, and he had a big double that resulted in a run scoring at in the win over Wesley Chapel. Want to give note also to Somerset's John Mora. He's a Miami commit. He's in 560, 567 for Somerset Academy. And Flanagan's own Caden Corzo, 4-year starter, really getting hot at the right time, putting himself, and he's still uncommitted, but he does have commitments, and he has some things that he's working through on his commitments. But we expect to hear some sort of announcement at some point with Caden Corzo hitting 485 for the Falcons, having a really strong year. I think he got off to a little bit of a slow start, but like I always tell people, I tell kids, I tell parents, talent rises. If you're good, it tends to sort itself out. That's the rundown. I hope you guys hung in there for it. I'm looking forward to as these teams jockey for that position to see who will be next week after that. Who will be playing at home, and now's the time to get hot, guys. Teams, if you've had a bad year, you have a chance to change it all, because once the playoffs start, new ball game, and you get in a 1-game situation or best of 3, it might be your time. So obviously time to lock in, and Man on Second will be having a blast covering it all. As we, how do you like the merch? The hat looks good, right? Man on Second hat, wearing that out to the field, showing that to everybody. Again, thanks to everybody for all the support on the channel. Please like and subscribe as we grow this thing, and we're having a lot of fun doing that. We're going to kind of really be all over the playoffs as they get going, kind of breaking it down to key matchups. We'll have a lot more specialized content in that regard. But with that, I'm not going to keep you any longer. It's time to get out of here. So we'll see everybody at the field, and we will catch everybody